Hello there, guys. Today, just wanted to do a quick vlog update. Um, it should go without saying, I'm bald again. I haven't been bald in probably close to 2 years. I have been feeling like shaving it for quite a while, but I finally decided to just a few weeks ago. I haven't really showed it off anywhere on social media for, well, it'll go up on the Remy Reacts before this most likely, but my Instagram won't see that for quite a while yet. It's just the way it works right now. But anyway, I was really curious about what my head tattoos looked like currently, because the last time I shaved my head bald, I hadn't seen them in a little while and they faded a bit. I had to touch them up, but I was happy to notice this time they stayed mostly the same. For whatever reason, head tattoos seem to bleed a lot, and therefore you lose quite a bit of ink. And it could also be the fact that your head is always facing the sun. Even when you have hair, you're walking around in summer. You might be, burning the skin or fading the tattoo from the sun without even realizing it. You would think that the hair would provide protection, but it's not like a hat. There's still obviously spaces for the sun to penetrate the hair and kind of bake your head. So I was also always curious whether or not bleaching your hair did anything to the tattoo ink. Like I bleached my hair probably 4 or 5 times last time I had hair, and even this time I bleached it maybe once or twice. But I didn't want to go overboard because I was always like kind of superstitious about whether or not hair bleach affected tattoos. Now, it's not like you can Google that. Once again, the science should be clear that it wouldn't. But how many people with head tattoos have bleached their hair? Like, it's a really small number of people who get a full scalp tattoo to begin with. And then from there, you're going to tack on to that those same people grow their hair in and then bleach it out. It's just really unlikely and hard to poll for. A lot of these things are all just kind of like, you're in the ether again. It's like when I got cross-threading my septum. There was no one that had any similar experience to that for me to ask about, or even going to a piercer. There was no one with any knowledge about that. Likewise with this, I asked my tattoo artist that did the head tattoo if that could have made a difference, and he hadn't even thought about it. He was honestly just kind of like, oh, well, maybe, because it does penetrate the skin. Like, bleach can really burn your scalp, right? It's not like hair dye. But anyway, so I will show off my head tattoo. So this is how he's doing. And this is one of my favorite tattoos. I had this done at the end of 2017 originally. I had the roses and filigree and the back of my head done for, I got started on all that in 2015. And then I finally committed to shaving my head bald and getting the middle of it done in 2017, because I was worried about, I'm getting to the age where you might start balding naturally, and I don't want to be looking like George Costanza from Seinfeld with like the cul-de-sac, the big bald spot in the middle, and I've got tattoos all around it, nothing in the middle. I was just kind of like, I better get on that. I better make sure that if I'm going to have head tattoos, I better have the whole thing done. And I would encourage anyone that does have anything on their head to at least once shave it all off and do the dome itself. You'll feel much better. You won't have like this weird peaking effect where it's like you're tattooed everywhere around, but not on the dome itself. I know lots of girls will get like hairline tattoos and stuff like that, but it's just so awkward looking. It would look better if they had that tattoo first and then they grew the hair in over it. Now, I know that's a lot of commitment, even for a guy, but for a girl especially. But it will look more organic and more flowing if you have like something poking out of your forehead that's actually connected to something rather than just kind of there. Like, that doesn't really Doesn't really make sense, especially if you're going to be getting a head tattoo. You're generally going to be someone with a ton of coverage. So committing to being bald for a little while when you're that far into tattooing shouldn't be that hard, I don't think. Usually what happens with me when I shave my head bald is I have like this gut reaction all at once, like, oh wow, I'm bald now. I can't do any hairstyles. It's this or hats. But this time it was a bit different. I was relieved actually when I shaved my head this time to see that my tattoos were all looking basically the same as they were last time. So I don't need to touch them up again. Um, and I mean, you could say that if you just grew your hair in and you never seen it again, you wouldn't have to touch it up anyway. But I don't want any of my work looking like crap. So if it means, yeah, shave it off and fix it up every now and then that's the way it goes. I also think that my hair I shaved up the hairline on a weird slant that was probably a little too far. And it was kind of bugging me. So reset isn't a bad thing. I probably won't stay bald for too long. I would say maybe 6 months at the most. But it is good. It's a good look. I don't know if bald is it makes me look a little more fierce. I went to Walmart with my son the other day, and we're standing in line, and there's a couple of kids and a woman behind us, heterites, of course, and they're, Mom, the scary man is in front of us. I mean, it's funny, but the being bald gives me more of an intense look, because I do still get funny comments like that, but not quite as much as when I'm bald, because the hair seems to soften the whole visual. Anyone that's concerned about the pain of a head tattoo, because it seems to me like people think that head tattoos are particularly painful. They really aren't. I liken it to getting a shave, and in this case, no pun intended. Um, getting especially the top of your head, I feel was kind of like I could pass out. There were some pictures taken of me where I was almost falling asleep getting my head tattooed. They were pretty popular pictures, but like it wasn't staged. I was honestly just about passing out getting the top of my head tattooed. That's back in 2019 when I was getting it touched up. It's just really, really thick and sturdy, and I feel like the head can take quite a bit of pressure. Where some areas like soft, squishy tissue, like your arm ditch or like your stomach, those areas don't really like being worked on, and they can tear up pretty easily. You can get all kinds of scarring in those spots really easily if your needles are running too fast or if you're going too quick or too deep. But the head, it's kind of like I said, a very firm surface. It can take quite a bit. I'm not saying you should make a habit of beating on your head, but the head's pretty solid, right? It's a pretty sturdy surface to work on. So, and I've always really enjoyed the head as a canvas for a really cool image. I think it's got a great shape. It's almost like you have a giant knee or a giant elbow. So you can put something big there that you can really make like a whole idea around. So even though the dome was done last for me, I always kind of knew what I wanted on my dome. It was just kind of like, I'm going to put things around it that can work with it, because eventually I'm going to do that. I was apprehensive to shave my head because I've always been, back in the day, I was the guy who always had crazy hair. I mean, I still kind of do these days. I mean, not right now, but my haircuts are a lot more modernized now than they were. Where before I would have, 20-inch mohawk, dreadlocks. I one time had a reverse mohawk where I had the sides of my hair long and the middle shaved. I had braids and all kinds of stuff. And then from there it went into, when I got a little older, into doing more like psychobilly hairstyles like pompadours and stuff like that. And so being bald just always seemed counterintuitive for me. But there's a large segment of people that I'll do these polls on my Instagram just for fun. and I'll say bald or hair, and it's never ever been hair. No one has ever ever thought that I looked better with hair. I think it's probably just because when you get your head tattooed, people assume that you're not going to have hair anymore. You're just going to wear your tattoos because why wouldn't you? But I think that that's from a mindset of not having them done yourself. Because people without a head tattoo would probably think that getting it done would become more meaningful or more painful or have a greater significance to you than it actually does. I could very easily forget that it's done when I start growing my hair in, and I only really start pining to see it again when it gets too hot or too windy. Um, you always think that being bald is going to be quite a bit easier, and in some ways it is, but you're shaving your head every couple days, or else it starts looking furry and weird. And that's probably the worst stage for me, honestly. I like being clean shaven like this, but the in between of bald and hair is the worst, and it's the part that makes me dread it. But I'll just show this guy off one more time. So, and this is one of my favorite tattoos. It's done by the same artist that did my chest piece and has been doing the black on black. So, yeah, really, really well done piece. Took about 3 sessions to do originally, and then 2 sessions of touch-ups a couple years later, and just to get the blacks like really solid. And it's looking really great now, so I'm happy that I did the work on it, and it seems like it's now ready to stand the test of time quite a bit better. But yeah, if you're watching this and you're on the fence, get your head tattooed. It's worth it. I'll talk to you guys again soon.